here's why you might not be getting everything you want to get out of therapy as a licensed mental health counselor who does a lot of trauma work and inner child work. So I recommend getting a Inner Child Workbook. This allows you to dive into different parts of yourself. So some of the deeper parts of ourselves where we hold emotional turmoil and sometimes find ourselves stuck in. Oftentimes we can see these traits of childlike responses that come up. Maybe we shut down emotions or we get really loud and escalate in order to try to get our needs met. And this can be a part of a lack of boundaries or a fear of upsetting people and people pleasing. And so by identifying these different parts of ourselves in our inner child work, we can kind of find the roots of where we picked up this habit or kind of like this knee-jerk reaction. And by doing so, then we can learn how to befriend that part of ourselves and kind of integrate it with the adult version of ourselves, that part that is more confident and being able to show up and communicate effectively and set those boundaries that we want to set. So the way that the inner child shows up may be that we, like I said, are people pleasing. We have a hard time saying no because we're afraid of something more significant and it feels so overwhelming. We might talk our way through it. We might do all the affirmations and just still feel really stuck. And that can be because we're in the subconscious where all of our emotions and memories are stored. And when we're not accessing that as much, getting into kind of this deeper stuff here, then we're keeping ourselves from really being able to make that deeper, long-lasting change. So, for example, this one here, have I tried to have a sense of power or to set boundaries in my relationships, but gave up when it didn't work? They didn't like me saying no, so this didn't work. I will just agree with them from now on. Or do I have a sense of whether people are good for me or toxic, or is it hard for me to see the distinction? So really diving into all these deep questions around boundaries and emotional responses and things that bring up these patterns. A lot of times people find themselves wanting to avoid it and stuff it down. And that makes sense, right? Why would you want to bring up something that's so stressful for you? However, it leaks out in different ways. Maybe it prevents you from being able to communicate effectively with your partner, or maybe it deprives you of having even positive emotions because all emotions become shut down, or it makes it difficult to make decisions on things because you really just don't know how you feel, and it takes a while to really decide that. We can write in the different parts of our adult self and how we integrate that as well. Offering to help others with no expectation of reciprocation, thanking those around you, practicing gratitude, and writing out different ways that we can do this and thoughts and beliefs that we have about this. And as we do this, then we build that authenticity. We build that energy and that sense of power that we didn't maybe have when we were younger. Maybe we didn't have as much say, or maybe, we didn't really learn how to cope with things. And so now we're learning how to kind of reparent that and integrate that into a part of ourselves to where we notice those needs, but we use it in a helpful way to actually make progress. So if you're going to therapy and you want to get some deeper work done, highly recommend this workbook, the Inner Child Workbook. This helps even with your doing EMDR. Do this workbook and you can bring up things that you want to process as a result of it, and it integrates beautifully.